Okay, let's finish up this nice table. So far, I mean, this would be perfectly acceptable, except that I think I want to change the font itself. So, in fact, I want to change all of the fonts for even this header here and the end afterward, whatever text it is. So I could click and drag to and highlight everything. I could just do the table itself by clicking, and I can change the character styles or the character information right here or in the control panel, either one, whichever you like to use. Okay, because currently it's courier, and that's a really generic type of typeface. So what do I want to do? I would like to, I'm going to do the table a little bit separately. So I want Adobe something. Yeah, I don't like that. Let's see. Caslon. Adobe Caslon is nice. You don't have to do what I do. You can choose a nice typeface that's clear, easy to read. I like it to have a little bit of a serif on that because it's slightly easier for legibility in this type of thing. So, well, let's do the heading as I like Myriad Pro. So I'm gonna, actually my favorite is ITC Stone Sands, but Myriad is actually, it is Myriad Pro. But Myriad Pro Bold, it's very similar to Stone Sands. So there we go, grade scale. That looks pretty good. And the end, Myriad. Maybe just a regular, and that's fine. You don't have to have anything at the end if you don't want to. We can make these the type size, any size we want. You know, if I need to go down, I could. Okay, and it depends on your text and what your situation is. Okay, so what if I would like the top row to be a different color than the rest of this? Because if I colorize this whole thing, let's take a look at our situation. We're going to go to the swatches. Now, yeah, we can select everything and we can actually go to the swatches. And you know, if you've practiced with InDesign, that if you have the fill color in front, that's what's going to it's going to affect. And your formatting, we have two things. We can affect the container or the text itself. So either one. So even with all of this selected, I could go back and forth between the two. All right, so I want to, let's see what the blue will do for us and put the tint down a little bit. Okay, and click away and let's see. Okay, that colorizes it nicely. But sometimes with a table, to make it a little bit more interesting, now it depends on the publication this is going to go in, but I like something a little bit more bold in color. And I stuck with a color scheme where it's, you know, blues and greens. I actually would like to do a dark color and have no tint. You can do a tint, that's fine. But let's, on this, do no tint. And what does that mean for me? Well, now the text is, it's a dark text on a dark background, and my green stroke lines between, those are the separators, it's kind of glowing, which I actually like. It almost looks like it's more of a yellowish color now. But I want to select everything because I'm going to go back up to right in here in the swatches and choose the text for formatting, and I need higher contrast. I could go with the lighter green, That might be nice. I'm actually going to go with white because I think that will be much more legible. Yep, there we are. I want to also make one change here up at the top. I would like to make it so that that is a black background. Okay, make it a little bit more bold, kind of like a scorecard, kind of like a chalkboard or something like that. That's not too bad. All right, now last thing, couple things. What if I want to include the grade scale, that header, onto this table instead of floating there? Okay, well, let's choose the table itself. Go to the table drop-down menu, or at least get to some of our commands here. And I want to insert. What we're going to do is insert another row on top, and we're going to move that grade scale down into it. So I want another row. And it's going to ask me, how many? I only want one. And do we want it above or below our table? Or whatever I have selected. Now, click OK, and I put a new one on the top. Now this is black here. Again, let's see if I made it some other color. All right, now I want to put the grade scale. I can highlight that text and cut it from view, or Command or Control X, cut. Yeah. Then I want to go inside of that cell, clicking inside of it with the text tool, and I want to paste that Command or Control V. All right, I've got an extra return, so I'm going to delete the return. Yeah, but that's like divided, and I don't like that either. So if I select that row, and I want to, let's right click or go to the table drop down menu, and what we're looking for, merge cells. Just like magic. Although somebody said once there's no such thing as magic. Well, I kind of want to match how some of this is going, so the text itself I want to be white. Does that look okay? One step further, I really do like the black background there. Okay, and perhaps with this, yeah, this set here, I don't like how it's empty at the top. Okay, so I want to go to the cell options. Let's see about that stroke and fill. I'm going to take off the sides, but I want the top and the bottom to be that color, so I'm going to put that back. Click OK. Yeah, that can be a little bit tricky. You saw that it took it off because on this one I didn't have it, and it obliterated it, so I had to kind of put it back and make sure that I had the right things changed. Last things, I want to make alternating rows where I have alternating color. Now you could select the different rows, and if I hold down a shift key, well, see it, then it selects too much. So if I wanted to change those colors a little bit, or maybe the tint, well, then I have to go to each one and do select it and change the tint on it. Okay, I don't want to do that. What I do want to do is select all of the pieces of information below my headings and go to the table options. And here's where the beauty of alternating rows or columns. You can do columns, but alternating rows, it allows us to just differentiate between rows of information, because it's an awful lot. They look the same almost all the way down. So having alternating rows, even if it's very subtle, may help you out. So what do I want to do? I want an alternating pattern, and in the table options, that's where I can get it. So every other row, okay, my first row, I want to to deal with, let's say the color. Okay, so I'm looking for, this is for row strokes. I want to alternate, let's go none on that, on the fill colors. There's where I want it. So you can alternate row strokes and column strokes, but I actually want the fills to alternate. So that's what I'm looking for. Every other row, and there's lots of options here too. And so the row itself, so what's the color? Okay, I still want the first one to be green, and that's 100%. I'm actually having to type 100% in. Overprint is in the overlap. Depends on how your production goes. If you need some things to be overprinted, like the stroke and the fill would overlap each other. Okay, so let's go to the next one. And the color, I do want it the same, except the tint of it is going to be different. Okay, 85%. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And let's click away from it. Wow, and I have having to put back the background here. Okay, except the tint needs to be all the way up. So sometimes you got to work with it to coax it along a little bit. Not too bad, and that's the end.